And hold up, you're a farmer, mom, and interior designer, business owner?
I mean, maybe I shouldn't have said farmer.
I would probably say farmer number one. I'm just kidding. It takes up a lot of my time, but it's really fun. I love it.
Why are we not shooting this with the donkeys? Hey everyone, welcome to the Guiding You Forward podcast. I'm Kristalina Brown with Mountain America Credit Union, and we have some awesome guests today with us. First, we have Kirsten Crayson.
Hello.
And we have Erin Morgan.
Hi.
And they are both the co-founders and creative directors of House of Jade.
We are, yes. We're so happy to be here.
First off, before we get started, Kirsten, you and I have met before.
Oh.
It was years and years ago.
Pretend like you know.
Years and years ago.
Okay.
Back when the only way that you had to communicate the fact that you were an interior designer was through a thing called a blog.
Yes.
Blog
Right?
world.
This was pre-Instagram, people. We're aging ourselves here.
Yeah, but honestly, I miss it because I think it was better than Instagram in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So every week I would turn into my series of interior design blogs, one of which was yours. What was the official name?
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Sixth Street?
Yeah, good, Erin.
Yes.
Sixth Street Design School was my original foray into the blogging world.
Yeah, love it. And then I, of course, had like the Pink Peonies blog that I would look at. Alice Lane.
So many good ones.
All the
Caitlin
Utah
Wilson.
ones.
Yeah.
Caitlin Greer.
Caitlin Creer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And so on this blog, I think it was yours that I saw it, there was this call out, hey, we're doing a sale.
Oh,
All of us are getting together and we're selling our extra material and random things.
Like in a parking lot. Yes.
Yes.
I
It was
remember.
Someone's backyard.
It
It was someone's backyard.
It was at Caitlin Wilson's backyard then, not the parking lot. And I think it was her parents' house. Erin was there.
You were.
Erin actually had a pillow shop, so she was probably there with her.
I was a seamstress, so I was there selling pillows.
I probably bought your pillows, and I bought shoemaker fabric from you that I made pillows
You
with.
lucky girl.
Yeah.
And I had those for years.
That was like a
literally just got
hot
rid
ticket
of them.
item in those days.
You're just bringing me back. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
That's
so anyways.
well, good to meet you
That's
again.
awesome.
Then.
We've met before. I'm
love
telling
that.
you. So you all have been influencing me for a really long time.
Love that.
That is a really long time. Yeah,
we're talking
we
like
had
15
had
plus
our
years ago.
first babies back then.
Yeah.
Like really, really. And now they're old, like
16.
Yeah, that's so weird.
This was back when we were painting our dressers teal blue.
Yes,
with
we
the
sure were.
mustard yellow
and then like
accents.
spray painting them with epoxy
And chevron, all the chevron.
All the chevron.
Yeah,
Is
good
chevron
days.
still a thing?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's not.
Yeah, it could come back. You never know. I never say never.
So both of you have been in this design industry for a long time.
Yeah.
How was House of Jade born? Was this just, hey, we're both in this industry, let's do it together? Or how did this start?
Yeah.
Well, as you mentioned, I had my own design business, and then I had my first son, and then was having my second, and it was a little overwhelming. Erin had started a business sewing pillows.
I had like an Etsy shop.
Yes.
And I sold pillows.
Plush Studio.
Yeah.
And
Oh my gosh, I've definitely bought your pillows.
Yes, see, you remember.
I love that.
Lots of Schumacher fabric over there.
Yeah.
But we had been collaborating a lot, and we were really good friends. We just met. We were living out in South Jordan together, raising our kids. They were the same ages. And we just worked really well together. And we actually ended up doing a little mini project for a friend, and it went really well. And I was overwhelmed, and she was overwhelmed, and we thought...
Yeah, I remember the day. It was like she came to my house one day and was like, I have a crazy idea. And I was like,
Which I've said 1,000 times since
that's
then.
like
It's
her...
Like, well, I'm always
That's your
saying
intro
that.
now.
Yeah. And Erin's just always rolling her eyes.
She was like, what if we started a business together? And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It was like, let's just do this fun hobby.
It will never be on a podcast. Like we were just like, it will be nothing. It will just be for fun, right?
Yeah, just on the side while we raise our kids, give us like a creative outlet.
Yeah.
And then it just kept growing and growing. And
here we are.
here we
So
are.
what is House of Jade for those listeners that may not know?
It's an interior design business. So we're a full service interior design business, and we do design work all over the country. We also offer e-design services. So for people who we never actually meet in person, we do design for them as well. And we also have an e-commerce shop called House of Jade Home as well.
Awesome. Amazing. And you have other designers that work for you? right?
We do.
So many amazing, talented, incredible people.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome to have such a collaborative environment with so many talented people.
Yeah. So when we're talking about building House of Jade, did you have other designers that like influenced you and you wanted to be like? And obviously you had to have some inspiration, right? For creativity.
For sure.
What does that look like for each of you?
Yeah. I mean, back then when it started with blogs, there was so much. It was so great. Like you would just hop all over the internet. And now I think there's almost too many. Sometimes it feels like a fire hose of influence, which is great. But back then I feel like you got to know not only their design, but like who they were, their families, their stories. And so I think I actually started at Alice Lane. That's like where I interned there, got to know the Bennetts, and they were amazing. So she was a huge influence for me. Caitlin Creer was like a good friend. And I mean, we didn't really have any like huge mentors necessarily that kind of guided us the whole time. But we did have a lot of people we could look up to and chat with if we needed to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any other like big designers that you're like, okay, this is our aesthetic. We love this.
I mean, I feel like it kind of changes every year. People that we follow or fall in love with, like who's inspiring us at that time, you know?
Yeah. We're also influenced, I think, not just by designers, you know, there's so many types of people. Like I know Boxwood Avenue she's a cute designer who also had like a farm, and Erin also has a farm. So that was like really fun for her to see, okay, I can be a designer, but also have these other interests. And so I think there's just such a good variety of people that you can find someone who's really in your niche if you're looking for it.
Yeah, I love that. And hold up, you're a farmer, mom, and interior designer business owner?
I mean, maybe I shouldn't have said farmer.
I would probably say farmer number one. I'm just kidding. It takes up a lot of my time, but it's really fun. I love it.
That's awesome. So are we talking like a farm with tons of animals or like hay?
I mean,
when you say farm,
it's more like animals. It's more like a hobby farm.
That's
but
amazing.
I have mini Highland cows, and
just got donkeys yesterday.
Just got mini donkeys yesterday,
and they're pregnant.
They're
so she's gonna have a bunch of donkees.
Why are we not shooting this with the donkeys?
I know. Well, they're scared of people. They'd probably be like,
I gotta like socialize them a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Talk to me about building this business. Obviously, it grew maybe more so than you thought it ever would, right? You talked about, hey, we never pictured ourselves being on a podcast, probably especially with a financial institution, right? Tell us that story. Like it just naturally grew. There was that much demand. I mean, we talked about there's several interior designers, right? What does that look like?
There's a lot. I mean, in Utah, I feel like there's a lot to choose from for sure, interior design wise. But I think actually because Kirsten had gotten started so early in the blog world, that actually kind of launched us a little bit, because when we started our business, she had that platform and
a little bit of a portfolio already.
Yeah, to kind of like announce to everybody what we were doing and where we were going and who I was and how we came together. And I think just because we already had that solidified audience that she had gained, it kind of just helped us start out with, a bunch of followers. And then naturally, Instagram just bled right into that. And so I think we put a lot of hard work into it, but Instagram really has carried our business most of the way, for sure.
Yeah. And honestly, at the beginning, there was never hey, I have a fun idea, but there was never a 5-year plan. We were working out of our basements. Our storage unit was Erin's garage.
Yeah.
Like it was very grassroots for a long time. And we were doing everything. So Erin was the seamstress, and I think also our accountant.
Yep.
And I was doing all the ordering. We didn't have like a purchasing team. And
the marketing.
And I was doing all the marketing. And so very soon we started hiring. And I think once you start hiring, all of a sudden you're like, well, we can't really take breaks. We can't just do this at like the pace we necessarily want to, because now we have people and they're here and they're wanting to grow with us. And so I think that did push us a little bit to say this is like a legit business, and
they kind of
going.
It was easier when we started delegating things to people. Then it opened up more space for us to take on more projects. So then we're like, sure, let's take on more projects, and
we then just never said no to anything and just kept going. Yeah.
And do you still not ever say no, or do you say no?
No,
sometimes?
we say no a lot now.
I do think what we've been able to do, though, because we don't say no a lot. And I think if it's not a good style fit, we'll definitely say no. But I think now we have figured out a way to offer lots of different types of services where there really is anyone can come to us and find some help some way.
Yeah.
I think too, because there's two of us, it's made it a lot easier for us to like take turns and carry the burden. You know, she had, like, we both had 2 kids during this whole thing, or she had 3, I had 2. So it was like, okay, you're going to have a baby. I'll take over for a little while and run everything. And then I'm going to have a baby. Okay, it's your turn.
Yeah.
So I think that having a partner in all of this has really, I mean,
Helped us just keep going.
yeah. It's true.
That's awesome. So you mentioned you didn't necessarily have a mentor that helped you build this. So let's say there's some entrepreneurs out there listening. What's your advice?
Oh,
I mean, that's a good question. We literally have learned everything from trial and error.
Okay.
We've made lots of mistakes, but we're better for them. And we've learned a lot from them. But 100%, I would start out with something. I mean, Kirsten has a little bit more interior design background than I do. I just, came from the streets, but
she has a degree in special education. But no, there was no design expertise behind her when she started.
Right. So
Just a really good eye.
I think like having a mentor or working at a design firm to kind of understand the ropes. I mean, we hire a lot of people from design school, but it's just never teaches you enough or all the things that experience can teach you.
Yeah.
So working with clients is just something that they don't teach you in school. And a lot of what we do, it's a service-based industry, and working with clients is how you present yourself and how you handle problems and how you communicate is a huge part of our job.
Absolutely.
So I think that that's actually the harder part to learn.
Yeah. Than the design itself.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Any other advice for other entrepreneurs out there, maybe just more focused on the business side?
Well, at the beginning, we really didn't say no to anything. We were doing, TV segments. If there's something, any opportunity that came along, we took any project, and it did lead to some really great opportunities, and you just never know. So I feel like at the beginning, you just have to put yourself out there and take on projects that maybe you normally wouldn't feel like you should take on, because you just don't know, and you don't know who they're going to talk to. And it was a lot. It was Instagram, but it was also a lot of word of mouth too. So I would say just be really open to doing all kinds of things.
Okay.
Whatever comes your way.
Yeah. We were talking before. You're not only the co-founders and principal designers, creative directors, you're the HR department and historically the accounting department.
We've worn a lot of hats, probably more than we should have, but we're a lot better at hiring now and understanding where we need to fill gaps.
A lot of hats that we weren't really qualified for, but you just learn as you go.
Yeah. That's the beauty of it, right? That's part of being a small business owner. Tell me about design trends. So currently, what are you seeing out there that we all need to like pay attention to and like, oh, this is it?
I mean, I feel like a huge one right now is kind of like grandma chic.
It's a lot of cottagecore. I mean, you'll hear that a lot. So we've kind of transitioned from farmhouse to cottagecore. So that think ruffles, florals, like very soft,
feminine.
Very feminine. Yes. And we're not the farmhouse trend was a little harsher. It was lots of black and whites, lots of big geometric. And now I think it's much softer, a little prettier, more feminine. And I think it's fun. I think the trends can be difficult as a designer. You're always trying to navigate that with your clients, but it's also exciting. It keeps it so that you're never doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah. I love that.
I was going to say, I think too that I think the trick of being a good designer is managing the trends, but still keeping it timeless instead of it, being overwhelming in a space, knowing how to use it in the right way and how much of it to use.
And trying to keep your clients from they can't buy in too much, because they'll come to you and that's all they're seeing, right? They'll be like, and sometimes they're honestly a little behind the trends because they don't really know what's up and coming. And so it's our job to help navigate them and say, I know you love this right now, but in 5 years, you're not. And we're here to help you figure out a way to take what you love, but make it more timeless.
I love that. I love that. Any trends of the past that you're just like, we're so glad it's over.
I mean, I mentioned Chevron.
Yeah, Chevron. That thing, I'm sure you sewed a whole lot of Chevron pillows.
So many. Yeah.
I do think the farmhouse trend, the really intense like black and white contrast, I think it got really overplayed. And specifically, like Utah loves a trend. And so we just did see a lot of that happening here. And it was fun at the beginning. And then we started to kind of try and help people to navigate that in a way where there's other ways we can do this where you're going to like it more long term. But I think there was a lot of like white houses,
black windows.
And then you walked inside and there was black and white tile, and like it was just a lot of black and white. And I think now we're trying to soften things more.
Okay.
So it's not so stark.
More tone on tone, more color and pattern. I think a lot of like bright white and simplicity was very popular with the modern farmhouse, and it's totally changing.
It's a lot more layered now. Yeah. Lots more color.
White kitchens, are they done?
I mean, I have one. I will say.
Yeah, not completely.
I wouldn't say they're done, but I would say they definitely need to be not all white. Like you need to be really careful. So paint your island, bring in wood elements. Yeah. But I wouldn't say they're done. I would just say they need to be more thoughtful than just everything being white. You have to be really careful.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. This is kind of a question. If you had to describe House of Jade's ideal client, what does that person look like?
Oh, that's fun. I think honestly, just someone who's trusting. That would be the first thing that I would say is somebody who is open-minded and trusts their designer.
Yeah, that's probably something that's the hardest when it comes to working with clients is creating that trust and letting them let us guide them. And it kind of takes a while sometimes with some clients, and that makes it difficult because we're constantly trying to please them or show them, almost like justify why we're picking the certain things that we are, and that just makes it kind of complicated.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. So obviously working with clients is a big part of what you do and the different projects you work on.
Yeah.
You have done probably a numerous amount of projects. If there's one that comes to mind that maybe was a little challenging, what did you learn from it?
Yeah, only one. We've just had one. We had a project at the very beginning that was particularly challenging. And now if I were to look back on it, I'd be like, that's a challenge that we have all the time. But at the beginning, the challenges feel really heavy, you know? And so I think it was extra hard. And we just had a client who we had spent all this time. She didn't like the designs. She didn't want to pay for the designs. And I just remember Erin and I just looking at each other. And
we were devastated.
We were crying. Like it was just like, what are we going to do? And now that happens, not every project, but at every project, there's going to be someone who might give you a little pushback or want some revisions. That's very normal. But I think what we did take from that is we need to be better at listening. So, maybe she's not liking these designs, and that's something we could have helped with if we had asked more questions. And then also figuring out what our processes are and really sticking with them and also communicating them. Because if we had said, you get X amount of revisions, this is our process, then she would have gone into it knowing that. And I think we were just kind of like making it up as we went. And so inevitably there's going to be some of that. And luckily we didn't quit that day. We kept going and kept persevering. And
yeah, we've learned a lot that communication is key. And it's better to just lay everything out on the table and instead of just assume that they know how the process goes or how it works to work with the designer.
Yeah, no one's a mind reader.
A lot of people don't know what that process is like. And so, we've just really dug into our processes and our communication and how we communicate with clients, and
it's gotten better.
I think that we've learned a little bit.
We still cry sometimes. That's okay. But yeah, I think that experience in my mind, I'm just so glad that we kept going and we didn't just give up with the one hard client at the beginning.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you don't have hard clients anymore. So
yeah, it's really great.
She's maybe exaggerating a little bit.
I don't necessarily think it's hard. It's just sometimes I think people's expectations they got to be reset from the beginning as far as this is what you can afford. Like, we don't want you to go into this thinking with this budget, you're going to get this, because they see what's on our portfolio and they just assume
we all want it.
Yeah, but like there's so much that goes into getting that picture to look the way that it looks. And so talking through that, talking about timelines, now we're in a world where we got to talk about tariffs. Like this is a place where we have to, at the very beginning, set the stage for what the whole project could be. And honestly, that makes it can be uncomfortable at the beginning, but it makes the whole project smoother.
Yeah. I think in the beginning, like budget and money is a really uncomfortable thing to talk about. And so that's kind of taken a lot of practice. But, we've learned everyone has a budget. Even if your budget is $10 million, you still have a budget. And so I think that that's kind of what we've learned too, is that like, we can't just go forward with clients who are like, oh yeah, just show me everything you want.
We need all the information.
Yeah, you have to get all the information up front so that we're effectively delivering.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you had to describe House of Jade's aesthetic, right? You mentioned, we'll turn clients away if, this style is not a good fit. What does that look like? What is your aesthetic?
I would probably say mainly transitional.
Okay.
We do modern, we'll do traditional, but honestly, we are getting mostly transitional, where it's like a little bit in between, where we're bringing in some traditional elements.
Right.
But we've got some cleaner lines as well. So I would say that's our
overall
style.
too. Yeah, we do like to mix a lot of styles. Like I feel like it's very rare that we have a project that's like all one style. Which I like. I think it brings in a lot of character. And so those are more of my favorite projects.
Yeah. Do you have any philosophy that you follow when it comes to, hey, this is when we know we've had a great client fit?
I mean, I think that something that we like to always go with is, both of us are moms and we are realistic in our own homes about raising kids, but also wanting to have our spaces be beautiful and enjoy the home that we live in. And so we really try to do that with all of our clients. We want them to have a beautiful space, but we also want it to be very functional with how they live and what their lives look like. And so I think that functionality and beauty are definitely important to us.
Yeah, they're at the core, I think, at every project. And we'll say that to our designers, because some of these designers are out of school. They haven't had kids. They don't know how tough they can be on things, and so we try and help teach them to, like, that's beautiful, but that's so, it's
unrealistic.
Very unrealistic, and it's not practical for this family with 5 kids, So I think we just know we want these things to last as long as they can, and for the families that live here to love their homes like long term.
Yeah, I love that. Do you have clients just not in Utah? I would imagine so, because you offer
we actually
design services, right?
More clients out of Utah than we do inside of Utah, which is interesting. Yeah, it's really awesome. We have clients in DC and Oregon and
Texas, California.
They're kind of all over. So it's really fun to be able to work with all sorts of people.
Yeah. And so you had mentioned like Utah. We dug our heels into that farmhouse aesthetic. What are you seeing? Trends across the nation? Anything else that you're like, okay, what did you call it? The core cottage?
Cottage core. I would say, I do think we're seeing a lot of natural materials. That stuff, that was not when we were painting everything teal and like chevron there. No one was really thinking about stone or, wood. Like everyone just wanted everything shiny and colorful. And I think now we're seeing a return to like the natural materials, which we really love and honestly are very timeless. Like you just can't go wrong. So I think we're seeing a lot of like wood cabinetry,
more marble,
a lot of marble, but like marble in not just like your basic marble, but like deep veining with different colors that you haven't thought about. And that's really interesting. Lots of marble fireplaces, which people didn't do a lot of before.
Limestone floors.
Yeah. Just like lots of texture.
Yeah. I love that. So you mentioned budget, right? Obviously this podcast, we talk about a whole lot of financial topics, right? What would you say is there a guideline where you're like, okay, what you want is essentially unrealistic. This is what it's going to cost. And you're like, we'll give you a few links, but that's kind of as far as we can go. If you had like, obviously ideal budget is endless, right? For everyone. But what does that really look like? If someone's wanting to update their house, maybe make it feel like more of a home. Do you have budget guidelines?
I mean, it's a loaded question.
It is.
Yeah.
Because it could, I mean,
it totally depends. It
we
depends
could
on
go
your
crazy,
taste
you know?
level. It really depends on like the quality that you're wanting.
I kind of actually think it's easier to work backwards. Like,
Okay.
what is your budget? Let's see what we can fit in that budget. I think that it's a lot harder to start with like all the things you want to do because it can get out of control really quickly.
Yeah.
So I kind of think it's more important to be like, okay, what is our budget? How much money are we willing to spend? And then we help you fit all the things that we feel like our biggest bang for your buck in that budget.
And we'll help you prioritize that.
Right.
So, like, for example, if someone comes in and they want to do a kitchen remodel, we would say, like, they might be like, we want to work with these cabinets. And then we would maybe come in and say, these cabinets are not going to last another 5 years.
Yeah.
Let's take the budget and put it in the cabinetry. And you can get new lights and you can get, you know, a new backsplash later. But like, this is where we feel like you need to spend the money. So I think that's what is the benefit of hiring a designer is they are going to spend your money and they're going to do it really well, but they're going to do it in a way I think that's going to help you make better choices.
Yeah. Do you have an idea of what a typical design budget looks like? I mean, I'm sure it depends on the room. Kitchens are going to be a little more expensive maybe than others.
I mean, things have really gone up in price as well, like from when we started.
It's very tricky. I think sometimes like the way that I like to help people think of it is like if you're taking a wall of cabinetry, budget about $10,000 to $15,000 depending on the size of the wall if you want floor to ceiling built-ins. So that's how you know I'm starting with the living room and I want something for my TV. Okay, well that's going to be a big chunk there. And then you need to budget maybe like $3,000 to $15,000 for a sectional, honestly, totally depending on where you're getting it from. A really nice rug is like, if it's going to be hand woven, you're looking at like $6,000. I mean, it can also be, there's some really nice rugs for like $200. Like it just really depends on the longevity of the pieces that you're putting in. But I do think it helps to give people realistic numbers because otherwise they're going to get into it and be like, well, I spent all my money on the built-ins and now I can't get a couch.
Right.
Which is fine, but like they need to know that going into it.
Yeah. Do you ever have like advice when it comes to how do I create my design budget? I know I want to update my living room, for example. Do you have like, okay, we need to really sit down and think about this, or it just depends on really what they want? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we do consultations for that exact reason to kind of go in and talk with somebody and be like, okay, this is what we would change in this space. And so let's talk about those things. Like, I feel like maybe you could use a new light fixture. Maybe I want to add a ceiling treatment. So I think it's like, this is what we kind of envision would really elevate this space. And then we kind of talk about how much that would cost from there. So, but that's, you know, space, each space is very different.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you have a super limited budget, right, and this client wants the, you know, $1 million remodel, what does that look like? What does that conversation look like?
We've gotten really good at being realistic.
A lot of times we will recommend phases. So we'll say, that's a great budget. However, it's only going to cover this part of your house. So let's do a phase one. And then because we just want to do it right the first time. And we don't want people to do it and just like slap stuff together. And then 10 years, they're like, oh, I guess I got to do it again.
Yeah. And I think we also recommend too, instead of being like, I'm going to spread my, you know, $5,000 across my entire main floor. I would rather you spend your $5,000 in one space and finish that space and then move on to the next space. Because if you just like slowly blanket every single room, you're just going to be blanketing forever. It's going to go on forever because stuff is going to change and your style is going to change. And so I think it's easier to get one space done at a time.
If you had like a living room and you had $10,000, I would probably say put in the most beautiful set of cabinetry. Like just make it, or that's a really old fireplace. Let's update the mantle. But like whatever the focal is of the room, I'd say put some money there. It's always going to be in the architectural features.
Yeah, that's where you're going to have the biggest impact.
There's the walls are bare. Let's put in some really beautiful millwork. Like those are the
ceiling
things.
treatment. Like let's add beams or.
And then lighting is such a good thing to put your money to. And then if we need to go get a couch from IKEA and have that for a while, your room's going to be so beautiful. It's going to elevate that furniture piece.
Yeah,
but that's where I put the money.
Yeah, the bones is where the most important spot that is to put your money.
Okay, I love that. So you might have already answered this question, but what unexpected costs do your clients or typical clients maybe overlook? They're just like, oh my gosh, we didn't think of that. That's way more money.
Number one is window treatments. For some reason, it's just never on anybody's radar. And then at the very last second, they're like, oh yeah, I have to buy blinds. We're like, what? You can't just put blinds all over.
No, we need some fabric shades. Yeah. We make things trying to help them think about that, but it's a weird cost because it's not necessarily included with your builder cost. But it is such a huge tens of thousands of dollars usually to do that throughout your entire home.
And
people
lots
don't
of times
budget for it.
People are like, oh, actually, I want the fancy electric ones that I can use with a remote. And we're like, oh, actually, we had to put those in at framing. Like you can't do those anymore. We have to battery power them. So there's a lot of things with window treatments that actually do need to be done in the beginning stages, and people just aren't expecting to spend the amount of money that window treatments cost.
Yeah. Also, like anything on the walls, wallpaper, millwork, all of that's expensive.
Yeah.
And I just don't think people realize it's not just it's the installation, it's the cost of the labor.
Yeah.
It can be really pricey. And so, you think that it's just the furniture, but it's really so many more components to make a room look finished. And you have to budget for all of them. Also, shipping costs and receiving costs and installation costs and tax. Like all of that can really, unfortunately, eat into a budget. But that's what we help you do. Like you'll give us your furniture budget and we'll say, okay, we're taking off this giant chunk for all those not fun things. And then we'll focus this chunk on the fun things.
So Kirsten and Erin, if people are listening in and they're like, okay, these girls are my ideal designers, how do they find you?
Well, you can go to our website. It's just houseofjadeinteriors.com. We also have House of Jade Home if you're looking for the products.
Okay.
And if you go to House of Jade Interiors, you can see our portfolio, fill out a form for design work. You can also find us on Instagram at House of Jade Interiors. And then our home is at HOJ Home.
Okay. Well, ladies, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
This
We
was
loved
fun.
having you. And honestly, we have to obviously get a nod to the fact of both of you are stars in our current My Style Checking campaign.
Thank you.
We're famous.
Right? And so we're so excited to have you part of that too.
We're excited to be, we're excited to be here. You guys are a great company and you've treated us very well.
Well,
thank you.
Well, we're glad that that's your feedback. That's great. That's wonderful. And thanks to all of you as well for joining us today on our Guiding You Forward podcast.